you move that character somewhere in this general location.
Welcome to Barrage. I'm Matt. There's Brent. Today we're going to do a tutorial and review on Blood Rage, your favorite game ever.
Absolutely. So the theme of the game is you are Vikings during Ragnarok, and so that's basically the Viking Norse mythology version of Judgment Day. Try and get glory in battle and die in the most glorious way. It's definitely very good about giving you that theme that you are in Vikings in battle.
And the art is incredible.
Yeah, which lends itself well to that theme.
Okay, well, what kind of game is it?
So in this game, it's an area control game kind of similar to a Risk game, where you're basically trying to vie for control in an area, and whoever controls that area gets a couple of different things that are kind of different, kind of similar to a Risk game.
Okay, well, let's start with how a round works. Okay. Is that cool?
You have 3 different ages or rounds. You start out the first round with getting what are called the God's Gifts cards, where you basically get a hand of cards, and then you decide what you want out of that hand of cards, pick it, and then pass that hand to the next player, and it goes around the table so that each player will get to choose cards from these hands. So there's 3 different types of cards. Quest cards that essentially will have you control this location to get this many points during the quest phase. Another type of quest is have this many figures in Valhalla before Valhalla is released. The next type of card is the upgrade card, but you're essentially upgrading your player board to upgrade your different types of units, but also from the monster upgrades, which is basically adding a monster miniature to your arsenal of guys that you can go out and attack with. Right. So then the final type of card is the battle card. The battle card will have a certain number on it, and when you go and do battle with another character, it will increase your total value in that battle, your strength in that battle. And so you might say, I have +1 according to this card in this battle, so if we evened out our units, Matt didn't have a card to play on his particular units, I would say +1 will give me the advantage in this. So then the next phase is the action phase. Each player will go around the table completing one action of their choice. First is invade. You pay the cost of that particular unit to put it out onto the board. And when you're paying these rage points. And as your rage goes down, you'll have less and less things that you can do. The next is march. And that's just one cost of 1 rage to move any number of units from one location to another location on the board. The next thing that you can do is upgrade. You pay the cost to upgrade a unit and put that particular card on your board. Next you have quests. And essentially you just put it face down so the other players don't see what your current quest is. And then the final action you have is pillage. You're essentially saying that I'm going to engage in combat in this location. Whoever has the most strength in that location when the combat occurs will get a reward for that location, as well as any number of points on their board.
And these are your stat levels. You have Rage, Axe, and Horns. Rage gets you more rage that you're able to do more things. The Axes give you more glory, right?
Yeah.
And then glory translates to
victory points.
Victory points.
The horns are the number of figures that you can have on the map. While we're talking about the different figures, your base figures in your different Viking clans are, you have a leader, which will always be free to be put on the board, and they'll have a strength of 3, which is typically better than most units. Your normal warriors will have a strength of 1 and will cost 1 to be put on the board. And then you'll have a ship that can be put in a fjord location, which are these little outlined sea locations, and they'll have a strength of 2. Finally, once everyone's completed their actions so that their rage goes down to 0, you'll have the discard down to 1 phase, where basically you'll have 1 card if you haven't already played it to keep if you wish. The next one is the quest phase. Everybody turns over their quest cards, and then they talk about who has completed which quests, which will get them a number of glory or victory points. Next is the Ragnarok portion, or that Judgment Day we were talking about. And so the location, which is marked with a judgment token, will then be destroyed, and any figures that are in that location when Ragnarok occurs will get the listed number of victory points right next to that Ragnarok for each figure that is destroyed in that location. And then the final portion you have is the Release Valhalla, where all the figures that are in Valhalla are released back to their players to be used for the next round. Then you go to the second round, and it continues as the same as the first, and then at the end of the third round, you total up the points and the person with the most points wins. So the board is broken up into 3 different areas: Mannheim, Alfheim, and Jotunheim. Those are broken down even to 3 different locations within them. And then one in the center, which is Yggdrasil. And Yggdrasil is the only location that you cannot start when you invade. So on my turn, during the action phase, I might decide that I want to invade with my leader. Then on Matt's turn, might decide that he wants to pillage that location. Matt has decided that he's going to bring one of his warriors in for this battle. Once we pillage this location, we're going to choose any cards in our hand. In this particular instance, and Matt, he's losing this battle.
He mentioned fjords earlier, so if I had a ship in the fjord, that would connect these 2, and then I would get an additional 2 strength.
If I had a monster that I might have control over, I could move that in and attack with that.
Okay, so Fire Troll is worth 4, and you're bringing in your leader, which is 3. So I would have to come in with at least 7.
And then this monster, the Fire Giant, also gets an additional text bonus. In this case, he gets, when he invades a province, he destroys all non-monster figures in it. So he would destroy all those units of yours in there, and so
I quit.
Thanks for watching.
In this particular situation, you would win the battle. My guys go to Valhalla, and then you get that point. That is a very brief overview of the game. There's so much more to it, and the cards add so much depth. Pros and cons. What do you like about the game?
Oh my gosh, everything. I love that there's so much strategy to this game. I love that the miniatures look beautiful, and the board itself, when it's sitting on the table, looks amazing. Yep. The art is amazing. How it fits so well together, and it doesn't feel like one person has an advantage over another at the very start of the game. But as it unfolds and you gain upgrades, everybody plays very differently. I love that I have the Kickstarter version, and so I have a lot of content adding different monsters that weren't available in the normal version of the game. There's lots of upgrades that you can buy. There's lots of expansions that you can buy. The core game itself plays 2 to 4 players, and then you can also buy a 5th player expansion, which adds another clan to the table.
The pro for me is the artwork and the minis. I mean, they make you want to play the game. It looks so cool when everything is laid out. The board looks fantastic. The artwork is gorgeous. But I will admit, the first time I played the game, I forgot I played the game. It wasn't stand out to me the first time we played it, because we kept talking about it, and you're like, dude, you've played it before. I'm like, I don't remember. I want to play it again for sure.
So for that reason, my con really is that this isn't a great game for the first time player. The second time, you actually have an idea of how the game plays, and so you can play a strategy off of that.
Okay. Well, is there anything you want to add?
Thanks for watching.
Remember, if you like us, don't forget to subscribe and share us with your nerdy friends. See you guys.